Now I know y'all can hear that one. Good Lord. Now that's something funky right there. Man, that was so bad I had to flush the toilet twice to figure out what was going on. All right, so I'm exaggerating, y'all. Anyway, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh to some of y'all, and peace out to the rest of you. The blackest heart, the blackest mind, the blackest man on social media, sign of black and shining again. Asking you to hit the share button because the message is more important than the messenger. So here goes, darknesses. This is more for my former student. And I'm going to point out something right quick about what my former student said. See, I didn't mention this in the last upload because it was long enough and I really wasn't trying to make it too long. But here's the thing. My former student and I each began to realize in the course of our conversation that the other one knew about the red pill. And this is important. I asked him how many others knew about this red pill. Amongst his age group, and I think this was actually another conversation. But the point is that of all of my former students, one can reach out to me and it happens that he knows about the red pill. Stop and think about what that means. Now, I was in the States 2 years ago, and then I was in the States several weeks ago. And in each case, what I saw were more than I expected in terms of the number of men to know about the red pill and at least have some idea as to what not to do that men of my age group decades ago did not know. When I was coming up, my peers just took for granted you were supposed to pursue and woo a woman, but you still bragged about how little you had to do to get her. But critical thinking about what kind of games they played and what they demanded in exchange for what they refused to give, well, that was discouraged. You don't critically think, you don't engage, you don't even think about these things. You just go ahead and do it. If you're a man, you pursue because you ain't scared of these broads and you ain't scared of no punani. And that was the idea. And that was what was actually pushed. And so I got to tell you, gentlemen, I'm seeing that men now are wising up, and I'm proud of that. Of all former students. Now, what he said to me was that many men of his age group knew not to simp. That right there is a start, because that's the best way that some young guys, when they're first getting aware, can really describe what they know. Because what you come to understand is oftentimes deeper than your linguistic ability to explain it and articulate it. Here's the thing. I now see how far we've gotten. You have made more progress in the West than what I thought, and I'm glad to see that. I really am. I mean that from the bottom of my black heart and the depth of my black mind. Y'all putting it down. Y'all making it difficult for anybody at war with you to get the spoils from you. Gentlemen, I'm now coming to understand I realize now why I'm seeing so many videos about men not approaching women anymore. These are the ones making the videos, but apparently there are many more that are suffering from this. They're not being approached, and I, for one, am glad to see it. Keep pushing, gentlemen. Keep withdrawing, not just money, but keep withdrawing time, attention, and validation, and even free sex. Because they don't never make it free for you. So keep withdrawing all of these things from them until the day that the attractive women have to come to you and pursue you, at least in the beginning. Until the day that the attractive women, when they're young and have options, are online making videos telling non-Western women, you don't want this feminism stuff. Don't listen to the propaganda. Until those days of complete collective submission, you keep on pushing with this and keep on spreading this and telling others about it. Make sure. Until the day that in our community, or in any community for that matter, single mothers that are not widows, single mothers that weren't married when they had these babies, or even single mothers that just married the wrong dudes, come to you for mentoring, ready to compensate you some way, somehow for that mentoring, and will not sit up and tell you not to make these boys red pill aware. Keep on pushing. Keep on going. Because, gentlemen, you have more capacity than what many of you think you do. A lot of you don't even think that you can stop chasing the draws. You can stop chasing the cat. Oh, no, it turns out actually men are already stopping chasing. Don't think that because you have a libido and it's unfulfilled that you're still losing. Don't think that because these women have libidos that are being unfulfilled. And the funny thing is these women got libidos. They're just willing to play the game. That's all that is. They're willing to deny themselves. You think they don't get that itch? Why do you think they're willing to spend all this money on the rolls and other toys and wouldn't spend $80 on you to take you out on a date? What you think all that's about? It's because in the end, they have low self-esteem, yet and still they feel that they are superior to most of you. Until today, they understand that not only are they not superior, but that in actuality, they have forced you to be superior to them and by a wider margin than what they thought. Until that day, keep on pushing. Dry up everything that they value. Not because you hate them, but because they're at war with you. And you're not here to subjugate yourself and accept a position of inferiority as they would understand it, even though you may have inadvertently, unknowingly accepted this through no fault of your own. You just didn't know. Once you know, you never accept those positions of inferiority. Because you're the one that they demand put it down in the bed, then go out there and work and bring home and provide. You're demanding simply from them, all you're asking for very nicely is that when they look the part, they also act the part. And they're saying we'll never do both. Now, why would they do that? Because they think you're inferior. Low self-esteem on their own part, insecurities on their own part, and yet they still feel superior to you. That shows you what they think about you. So I have no problem believing what R. Kathy said about 80% of black women disliking black men, if not outright hating them, because frankly, Western women look down on Western men in general. Hatred is not too far away. But you have done a much better job of resisting this than what I had even understood. Every time, as time goes on, every time I learn something, I learn that you have progressed further along than what I previously thought. And believe you me, now where I am in the Middle East, I'm about to drop this red pill on these men. Because for one, a lot of it is already understood. Number two, this will inoculate them against the wave of feminism that is coming. See, a man that gave me a ride one time, who's a citizen here, told me that because of the changing economy, many of the men, husbands and fathers, are turning to drugs to try to cope with the pressure because their wives and daughters ain't futting to shuck up and dealing with the fact that the economy ain't what it used to be. They still want to shop. They still don't want to cook. They still don't want to clean. They still want the same maids they had before. Now, they're not disrespectful of the men in general, but they ask for a lot. And that's putting pressure on these men. Some of them are turning to drugs to cope. You know what that tells me? That tells me that the ladies still understand they got to go and ask that man. But the job market is changing in the Gulf in general. More and more women are working. Fewer and fewer men are finding jobs. And when I tell these men this, they right to know this. Because this is going to inoculate them against what's coming. Hey man, look, you still the one that's taking care of the women in your family even when they got jobs. That means you call the shots. You paying the cost, you the boss. And you let them know right off the bat, F that feminism. You come under my roof with that feminism, you're going to be out there on them streets trying to figure it out your damn self. And if they're willing to just sell that booty to try to get ahead, so be it. They ain't your concern no more. Put them out. If they come with that feminism stuff. Because if they come in with that feminism, they already can take care of themselves because they strong and independent, don't need no man. You keep doing that over there, what you're doing, gentlemen, it's working. And I'm going to go ahead and spearhead the spreading of it here now. Not just amongst the black citizens, but amongst the citizens in general. I'm going to start with the black ones if I can reach them. Apparently from getting darker now, it's more believable, so I'm going to start doing that. But I'm going to spread it. I think we're in a position to where we can go ahead and keep on pushing at a medium pace and just squash this stuff. And I'm not even saying this so that we can oppress women. I'm just saying this so that we'll never again be even somewhat oppressed by them or even manipulated by them anymore. I pay the cost, therefore I am the boss. I will look after you, you will do your part. I will not oppress you, but you will not oppress me. You won't even manipulate me or lie to me or deceive me. If you're allowed to lie about what you want, hell, if you're allowed to even be quiet about what you want and leave it a mystery, then I'm allowed to lie about who else I'm with, who your co-wives are, or even keep quiet about having them in the first place. I ain't got to tell you. And make them understand, hold up, what I want is some variety, maybe even if it's just two. Most men are pretty much cut out for just two wives. So make them understand, if you're going to sit up here and you got these demands and this is my job and I got to do X, Y, and Z, then at least you can do is fuck the shuck up when I marry one other. You ain't got nothing to say about it, even if I'm average with average salary, brother to Johnny. So that being said, keep pushing, gentlemen, because they crying. And what I'm finding out from these younger men is that it's progressing. Keep on pushing it. Let them know. Let the next man know. But here's one more thing I'm going to say. When we spread this, we need to make sure that we take a tone that explains and does not condemn. Because see, Kevin Samuels was telling men things that were valuable information for the most part, but he wasn't talking to them from a standpoint of, you've been deceived, they didn't tell you this, I'm gonna spill the beans. It was more like, oh, you ain't figured this out yet? That's what his tone was like, and that's why men didn't like him when he was talking to the men. Because it was still the blame being placed on the man for not figuring out how deceived we had been. Now, when we spread this to the next man, just understand, we spread this in a tone that is informative, explanatory, not condemnatory. Hey man, it ain't your fault you didn't know, because they all are in on this lie. They don't want you to know. Of course you didn't know, it ain't your fault. I'm gonna tell you what they don't want you to know. Why you never gonna hear this from women themselves, but you see them show this, because they see themselves as fish. They don't want to be caught. Yet they still want to be caught. So you can't go to them, you got to go to the ones who succeed in catching the fish. Because this is not a situation in which we come together naturally, because they don't want it to be that. This is a situation in which they manipulate, they give chase, they give flight and all this other stuff. They're lying, man. And you a victim just like the rest of us were. But keep pushing, gentlemen. Keep spreading this. If you speak two languages, tell the men who speak both of the languages you speak. Make them know about this. Spread this. Because with the speed of the spread of this awareness in the West, that's now putting us in a position to go ahead and tell men outside the West what's coming down the pike. And remember, we will accept nothing less than the attractive women with their stuff together, physically and psychologically, approaching us. We will accept nothing less. And attractive women with their stuff together, making videos and telling non-Western women, this feminism ain't what you want. We're sorry, we were wrong. We pushed our men away. You don't want this life. Listen to your men folk. Don't take oppression off of them, but most of them ain't going to oppress you no way. But also likewise, don't oppress them even by lying, even by keeping secrets that you want them to know. Don't oppress them. Do your part. They lead, you help, love and cherish them, respect them, and they'll do the same thing for you. Until the day that this is coming from attractive young women in the West, addressed to attractive young women outside the West, we don't stop. Because they're fighting to oppress you, gentlemen. We're just fighting to not be oppressed. We're right, the opposition is wrong. End of story. Thank you for listening. Black heart, black mind, blackout. Assalamu alaikum and black heterosexual, non-select male power just because they don't like it, and black patriarchy until extinction or judgment day.